Good to be back from Sukkot. So we're going to do a topical study today, and I'm really excited about that. This is something that has kind of vexed me for a long time, and quite honestly, over the past few months we've done some teachings, got some pushback on that, but it's also enabled a lot of people to dig into the Word and come to some really great discoveries. We did a teaching called The Synagogue of Satan, and this really exposed that the state of Israel is not biblical Israel. It's not biblical Israel. It's not biblical Israel. And that was really hard for some people to be able to see that, because there's such a strong push for Christian Zionism and Messianic Zionism. That was really difficult for a lot of people to come to terms with. That the Temple Mount isn't in fact the Temple Mount, it's the Anatolia Roman fortress. That the actual Temple Mount was further south in the city of David. And then the one that I think has really been a big stumbling block for so many. And the reason that I bring this up now is because we are in a religious political time. We are in a religious political time. We are in a religious political time where I just am seeing so much coming to light, that as we speak forth the truth, there is pushback, but it needs to come forth in this time when these globalists are really pulling the strings, and so many people are blinded to the scriptures, blinded to historical truth. And they're led by their heartstrings. They're led by their heartstrings. They're led by their heartstrings, but it's not actually fact. One of those things, again, that people have been led for so many years is thinking that the Ashkenazi are in fact descendants of Shem. And we've discovered that the Ashkenazi are in fact the synagogue of Satan. They're the descendants of Japheth. They're Turkic Mongols from the Khazarian region that converted to Judaism in the 6th and 7th century. These are the things that we've discovered over the past few months. Those teachings came across in exposing the rotting stick of Israel and the synagogue of Satan that are in our archives. But then if I'm going to go forth and say, well, you know, those that say that they are Jews but are in fact not, but are the synagogue of Satan, and the Ashkenazi are in fact not Jews, they are sons of Gomer, Japheth, they're not even Shemites. Many people have come to me and said, well, who are the real Jews? Who are the real Jews? Who are the real Jews? Right? So you start to look at the scriptures and you start to see that we serve an Elohim that delivers people from slavery, and then I get sick and tired of what's been going on in the run-up to these elections. And coming from England, where I see things so different in this country because I come from outside and come into it, and I see all the fermentation, and it really troubles me. But the scripture and historical truth and historical truth and historical truth is what will set us free. Is what will set us free. Is what will set us free. Amen. But democracy is designed to enslave you. Designed to enslave you. Designed to enslave you. It was invented by the Greek. It was invented by the Greek. It was invented by the Greeks. And we understand from the scriptures who was sold to the Greeks. Genesis chapter 9 verse 27. We have got the Ashkenazi sons of Japheth that have infiltrated into the land and are what? They've got the whole world convinced. The whole world convinced that they are sons of Shem. But look what it says in Bereshit chapter 9 verse 27. It actually tells you that Yahweh, who is omnipotent, it is his will, because he has actually deceived them into doing this. They are so deceived into doing this. Look at Genesis 9:27. Elohim will entice and deceive. The Hebrew word there is patah. Patah. He will deceive Japheth, Ashkenaz, the sons of Japheth, and he will dwell, that means Ashkenaz will dwell in the tents of the Shemites. Is that what's happening today? Has he deceived the Ashkenazi so much, those from the Russian steppes, the Caucasians, he's deceived them so much that they're actually dwelling in the place where the real Shemites should dwell? Genesis 9 verse 27. You see, Yahweh is the one that has deceived. He has enticed Japheth. Patah, deceived, enticed. He's deceived and enticed the Ashkenazi Jews into believing that they're the Jews, and they've built the Zionist state of Israel today, which is occupying what? Our whole political platform. You don't know where the money is coming for Hillary Clinton? Where do you think it's coming from? The Ashkenazi slavers. That's where all this political money is coming from. And you don't think it's important for us to know this right before the elections, what's going on. Because they're going to try and enslave people even more. And we have to be aware of it. Because what's happened is the Ashkenazi are in fact occupying the tents of Shem, the real Shemites. Shem's not there. Shem's not there. Samson was the first Rasta. Samson was the first Rasta. He was a Negro lion fighter. Negro lion fighter, similar to the African Maasai tribe, Judges 14:5 and 16:19. You see, Samson tore a lion apart as he would a young goat. And as a Nazarite, he wore 7 dreadlocks. Nazarite, he wore 7 dreadlocks. Nazarite, he wore 7 dreadlocks. He was mahogany in body color, just like Malcolm X. And his visage was blacker than coal. He was a Negro. He was a Negro. He was a Negro. Lamentations 4, 7, and 8. And this is really hard. It's really hard for people to see. For people to see. For people to see in Scripture. Because predominantly it has been the Caucasians that have been in charge of the Scriptures. Been in charge of the Scriptures. Been in charge of the Scriptures. Right? For millennia. Lamentations 5:10. Our skin was black like an oven. Job 30 verse 30. My skin is black upon me and my bones are burned with heat. Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And Yahweh shall bring you into Mitzrayim, Egypt again with ships. And the way of which I said to you, you shall see it no more again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies for slaves and female slaves, and no man shall buy you. And that is what happened to the regal class of the house of Judah. And I want to give you a brief history. I won't go into it too much, but I can't just make that statement because there'll be people that will push back. But I want to give you a brief history on slavery. I was just amazed, I got to tell you. I mean, when you come to America and you talk to people about slavery, you can talk to black people about slavery, white people about slavery, and they'll give you all this history on slavery, and it only goes back to the 16th and the 17th century. It only goes back to the 16th and the 17th century. I mean, right? Let's just change the name as much as possible to throw you all off so you really don't know what's going on. Let's keep switching the identity to hide the people. Why don't we just keep renaming you? Are you Negro? Oh, no, you're not Negro. No, you're colored. No, you're not colored. You're African American. And this is what they name you. The slavers name you this. Because I know a white guy who grew up in South Africa. and he now lives in America. He is an African American. I mean, right? Let's just change the name as much as possible to throw you all off so you really don't know what's going on. Let's keep switching the identity to hide the people. Why don't we just keep renaming you? Are you Negro? Oh, no, you're not Negro. No, you're colored. No, you're not colored. You're African American. And this is what they name you. The slavers name you this. Because I know a white guy who grew up in South Africa, and he now lives in America. He is an African American, and more African American than most. Do you see how African American is a misnomer? It's a misnomer. Don't check that box. It's a title given to blacks by democratic slavers. Okay? Let's be real. They want you to check the box, just like they want the Anglo-Saxon to check the Caucasian box. It's not true. But don't start at the ships on the west coast of Africa. That's all you're going to get in your democratic American public re-education system. And it just troubles me. Even blacks in this country aren't educated enough to go further back. Do you know how many blacks in America have been lost to Islam? It's outrageous. That's not your tribe. Your tribe is Judah. Your tribe is Judah. Your tribe is Judah. Muhammad's tribe enslaved you. Why would you convert to Muhammad's tribe when you're of King David's tribe? Of King David's tribe. Of King David's tribe. Don't convert to the tribe that enslaved you and then sold you to Ashkenazi ship merchants. More black Negroes have been lost to Islam in the 20th century than any other believing, Bible-believing group. It's outrageous because they don't want you to know who you really are, who you really are, who you really are, and what tribe you're from. But you're not from Muhammad's tribe. Never were. Never were. You are a regal Negro class from the royal house of Judah. It's outrageous to me. Islam is not the black man's religion. It's for those of the Banu Hasham clan of the Quraysh tribe. That's who it's for. It's not from the tribe of Judah. Never was, never will be. It was never the religion of the Negro nomads in Africa because they were exiled from the kingdom of Judah. In Joel chapter 3, verse 6, it talks about these indigenous black Africans in collusion with the Ashkenazi because they were selling the Negro house of Judah to the Greeks. And who did the Greeks? The Greeks, they invented democracy, didn't they? Didn't they just? You see, Africans weren't selling their own people. They were selling a tribe that had encroached upon their land, a higher educated, regal class that had judges, coppersmiths, goldsmiths, and all of this, and they did not assimilate in, and they wanted their stuff, and they wanted to get paid by Islam, and Islam wanted to get paid by the Ashkenazi ship merchants. The Igbo tribe of Africa, they're Jewish. If you were to look, just look at old maps, old maps of the African slaving maps. There's an old map of, I think it's Guinea in maybe in the 1720s, 1730s. There's this old map, and it's called a slave coast map. Look on that. It's the slave coast map of Guinea, 1736. And you look on the West Africa map of 1747, and it says right on the West Africa map of 1747, Kingdom of Judah, Kingdom of Judah. Right there on the map. On the 1747 slave coast map, Desert of Seth, Desert of Seth. Well, who was Seth? He was Adam and Eve's third son after the death of who? Abel. Desert of Seth, right there on an African slaving map. An African slaving map. An African slaving map. Luke chapter 3 verse 38. We're talking about the genealogy of Yahusha from the tribe of Judah. Verse 38, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, the son of Elohim. But by 1771, the same map, the very same map, even with the same cartographer that did the map of 1747, all of a sudden, by 1771, oh, they got wise to it. And there is no Kingdom of Judah no more on that map. Disappeared. Same cartographer. Oh, somebody got to him, right? Why would the same cartographer remove the Kingdom of Judah from the 1777 map, 1771 map, that was in the 1747 map? Why would he do that? You see, you've got to go further back, because the more we go along this timeline, in this day that we have, people don't understand what has gone on in the past, and we are making the very same mistakes as we come to this apocalyptic time of days that we're living in.